Cubs take out the Mets 8-1, a little revenge for yesterday's beatdown of Shota Imanaga. And the Cubs got it going with a huge first inning, scoring 5 runs. So they even the series up with the Mets. We're going to get into that, how things went down. Finally, the offense with one of their biggest games offensively and margins of victory since April. And how about Ryne Sandberg? Yeah, being honored with a statue tomorrow. All that right here on the Cubs baseball channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's get into this thing. Nice win for the Cubs. And I'm going to tell you how it happened right after this. Hey everybody, it's Mick Gillespie. Welcome to the Cubs baseball channel. And what a win today for the Cubs as they take out the Mets in a blowout win, 8-1. And I like what I saw today. First off, on yesterday's show, we were talking about, or really this morning's show, we were talking about Christopher Morel and that cleanup spot, not getting it done. They slide him down the 6th, and boom, he breaks out, has a home run. Pete Crow-Armstrong with a big day. It was good to see Dansby Swanson driving in a run. Ian Happ, everybody kind of, strung all the hits together. And then another great start for Jameson Taillon. And I got to tell you, man, 6 quality starts now. And if Justin Steele has one more good start, Cubs are going to have all these guys with ERAs under 3, which is really impressive, right? And they need to take advantage of it. But Taillon has been exactly what the Cubs hoped they were going to get when they paid him the contract a year ago. He didn't live up to it last year. He has been absolutely brilliant for the Cubs this year. It's been great watching. Let me put up the box score here as we talk about today's game and just kind of get into it. We'll start with the pitching. The bullpen's been terrible. And if you can get 7 innings out of a starter, then that means that you only have to get 2 innings out of the bullpen. Right? You're saving the bullpen for other games, but you're also giving the team a chance to win. So Taillon, 7 innings, 6 hits, scattered them, 1 run. How about this? No walks and 10 strikeouts, and his earned run average now is 2.90. So you're talking about a 2.90 ERA for Jameson Taillon, and what a tremendous outing for him. Brewer and Neris also pitched in the game, and it was one of those performances for Taillon that you felt like the Cubs really needed that after yesterday's game. The fact that you didn't get as much out of Imanaga as you would hope. And so, Imanaga gets roughed up and has to, and has been that reliable guy for you the entire time. And then, today you turn it back on McGill, who only pitched 3 innings for the Mets, and then you save the bullpen. But Taillon, 93 pitches, 61 strikes, got the job done for the Cubs, and I felt like this was another really good outing for him. Now let's take a look at the box score. Nico 0 for 4. Bush has been batting over 400 for the last couple weeks. Didn't have a hit, but did score a run, had a walk. Cody Bellinger, a couple of walks in the game. Batting average is going up. He's been consistently delivering for the Cubs. And if the Cubs fall out of this, maybe Cody Bellinger would be a guy that the Cubs would consider trading. Teams like the Yankees that need somebody to play first base would probably love to have him, with Anthony Rizzo, former Cub, dealing with his injury issues. So Bellinger, another solid game with the 2 walks and a hit, right? So that means he's on base 3 times. Seiya Suzuki got called out on an absolutely Bush League call by the umpire, still ended up with 2 hits and 4 trips. Ian Happ with the RBI, and then Christopher Morel, we're talking about him before. This is the kind of game that he needed. Hit a home run. It was a blast. He ended up with 2 runs knocked in the game, 2 for 4 game. The batting average is up to 202. That's not good enough. He's got to get better at third base, but at the same time, it's a breath of fresh air to see him back and driving in runs again. Dansby Swanson had the RBI hit and scored on Pete Crow-Armstrong's triple. And how about that triple? The second for Pete Crow-Armstrong, hit it into the right field corner. And earlier in that at bat, he's like 2 outs and Dansby Swanson's at second, and he's trying to bunt. And I'm going, what are you doing, man? You can't bunt there. You've got the ability to drive the ball. And then he ended up ripping it into the corner. Saw the guy play a lot. He's got this amazing wrist, hand-eye coordination and these wrists that are going to get the balls like that. But the blazing speed, he's one of the fastest runners in baseball, went from first to third in the blink of an eye. Tremendous game for Pete Crow-Armstrong. The defense is getting there. He's still got a lot of learning to do. He's still got a long way to go. But the problem that I've had with this Cubs team is that they play flat. They look like a dead fish on certain games, not when that guy's in there. He just brings the energy, the spark. He jumped on top of the dugout. He's out there cheering with the fans. I mean, this is the kind of energy that will basically propel the rest of the team. When you got a guy like that that's that fired up, it really is contagious. So I thought he had a great game and did exactly what he needed. We talked about Morel. They moved him down in the lineup. I don't know if it matters or not. Let me be honest with you. I know that he's not hitting like a cleanup, man. The fourth spot has been a tough spot for him. And I know why Craig Counsell has him there, because there's really not a lot of cleanup guys on this team, run producers, right? Maybe they should have signed Martinez that hit the home run against the Cubs yesterday, JD Martinez, someone that you could put in there. But Morel, and you're going to get something out of him. But Morel's home run went 446 feet. That is the longest home run of the season for any Cubs hitter. He's got power. He's got the ability to drive in runs, and maybe just sometimes just switching things up in the lineup for a guy. Maybe they see different pitching. Maybe it's just they're a little bit more relaxed. I don't know. And maybe it's a coincidence. But for him to kind of slide down in the lineup and, kind of like when we talked about it, drive one through the middle on a base hit and then hit the long home run. Both of his hits produced runs. It was a good game for him. We saw Tomás Nido for the first time behind the plate, and the guy did a really good job. I mean, he was receiving the ball well. That's something that the Cubs haven't done a great job of this year. And I'm not one of these guys that's going to sit here and tell you that I hate the fact that receiving is so important. But it is important because these guys will take a pitch that's outside and low and bring it back in the box like it's a strike, and the umpires will call it a strike, even though it's not even a strike. And we can see that with the cameras and everything. It's important to have someone that's able to do that. So he's been on the Mets for a long time. And obviously now with the Cubs making his first start for the Cubs, I thought he looked really good back there. Looked comfortable, made a couple of nice plays defensively. I'm sure there was a little added motivation against his old team. But whatever it was, the Cubs brought the energy today. I thought that made a difference. Love what Jameson Taillon was doing. And how about the fact that him and Nido had never – they're not on the same team. Here's the first time. And it just seemed like Taillon and Nido were on the same page the entire game. Calling a great game kind of, that's what – it's why they call it a battery. These guys, the real good ones will almost connect mentally with the catcher, and they know what they want to do. Now, the other thing is you got to remember, and maybe the Cubs need to start Nido again, is that he played with the Mets. So he knows the way that they hit their weaknesses, I'm sure, just from sitting on the bench or, being in the same game with them. So maybe that played into this as well. But what a great debut for the Cubs' newest player and his first ever start. All right, tomorrow before the game, our friend and the legend Ryne Sandberg, the Hall of Famer, is going to get his statue unveiling ceremony. We love him. We love him. We spent a lot of time with him. You guys watch the Open every day. When I do a show, I see Rhino pouring a beer on my head. He's the best. And we have, I'm telling you, all of us throughout the organization, all of you guys, all the Cubs fans have sent so many prayers to him, and I texted him that, told him he knows that. We love Ryne. I can't tell you how many times I went in the backyard as a kid and wanted to play second base and wanted to wear 23, because Ryne did. I meet you guys on here all the time. I mean, how many of you named your kids Ryne after Ryne Sandberg? And what a great name and what a great tribute. And when I worked with him, just to tell you guys this, every city we would go, someone would come up, and he always took a lot of time for those kids that were named Ryne after him. And if you didn't know it, and I'm sure most of you do, he was named after Ryne Durham, who was a pitcher for the Yankees. His mom liked the name. They weren't even Yankees fans. And then obviously he's really blown that name up with what he's done, but he's battled cancer. Our prayers have been answered because, obviously he's posted on his Instagram that he's doing well. The scans are coming back clear, and that is so great. And to see Rick Sutcliffe throw out the first pitch, I think yesterday was his birthday, right? And then the entire, or a lot of the guys from the 84 team being there behind him, that was exciting, and they'll be there tomorrow for Ryne. I wish I could be there with you guys that are going to be part of that ceremony. But kudos to Ryne. And it's the anniversary of the Sandberg game. And for you young Cubs fans that don't know this, maybe you've kind of heard about it, but there was a time, guys, which is going to be crazy for some of you. And some of you are going to be like, man, everybody knows that. Not everybody knows it. We only had 3 channels. we only had 3 channels on TV. And you didn't get to watch teams out of market a whole lot. And even on the, WGN, I don't know that they did every Cubs game. They did a lot of Cubs games. But the game of the Ryne and those guys back in 84 used to call the game of the week the game of the world, right? Because everybody would watch it. And that was how you would see like the Cubs and the Cardinals if you weren't in that market and you didn't have WGN. And so, Bob Costas would come. I think Harry did the game. I don't know what station he was on, but I've heard the calls of it and everything. It was a Cubs-Cardinals game. And Ryne told me that when he went up to the plate, he knew that he had to swing under Bruce Sutter, who was a former Cub, and then he went to the Cardinals, and he was a lockdown closer, swing under his splitter, I think it was, right? And Ryne was a line drive hitter, and the first time up, Cubs are down, going to lose the game, and Ryne hits a home run to tie it. And this is the game of the world now, so everybody's watching this on TV. And comes back around, Cubs are losing again, and Ryne does it again off of Sutter. Twice he's taken Sutter. Nobody took Sutter deep back then. And then eventually the Cubs won. I've talked to Jody Davis and Bobby Dernier and, some of the other Cubs about this particular game. But this was the game where Ryne Sandberg really became Ryne, where people, not just Cubs fans, knew that there was something special brewing with this second baseman, this young second baseman. And obviously, the Cubs ended up getting to the playoffs for the first time that year, Ryne, MVP, and it really took off 40 years ago tomorrow. And that's the anniversary of the Ryne Sandberg game. They called it the Ryne Sandberg game. They still do. And they're going to drop that statue. Everybody's going to get to see it tomorrow. I'm sure Ryne will talk. And this is really, really an exciting time. So congratulations to Ryne. Kudos to the Ricketts family for picking the perfect day. 40 years since the game of the world, the Cubs and the Cardinals, and a Cubs victory against St. Louis in extra innings. Now, I guess the only thing that would have been better is maybe a game against the Cardinals for this. But tomorrow's game, Cubs and Mets, it's a 6:10 game Central Time. And Javier Assad, another guy with an ERA under 3.3 record and a 2.75 ERA, will go for the Cubs. At least Severino for the Mets, 4.2 record, 3.52 ERA. Severino's a guy that can be really tough. So this is a big game for the Cubs. You want to continue the momentum of taking Grimace, that purple shake drinking, hamburger eating mascot of McDonald's that the Mets have adopted now. Instead of Mr. Met, they have Grimace as their mascot, and the Cubs took Grimace and they punted him out of Wrigley, and they'll try to do the same thing tomorrow. But thanks for hanging out, guys. Don't forget, Ant will be on in the morning, so check out his show. And go Cubs. What a good win today. I don't like that term, play the song or play that song or whatever it is. Go Cubs, go, man. Best song, still love it. Could love it every time I hear it. And it sounded just a little extra good today after that blowout win over the Mets. I'm Mick Gillespie. Like and subscribe at Broadcaster Mick on the socials. We'll do it again soon, guys. Go Cubs.